Good morning. This is Honors Lit Vocab 6. I'm going through completing the sentences. Once again, my other link for my other vocab video was broken, so I'm going to do a new one. So, number 1. Someone with such a blank hold on life doesn't give up the ghost easily, I thought as I watched the old man struggle to stay alive. This is like a determined persistence, not giving up at all. All right, keeping staying the course. Just a second, my dog. Hey, get down, get down. She's so bad. Anyway, so if you look at number 20, tenacious. Now, this is, we're going to do our challenges here. So if you watch this video, our first challenge will be with the word tenacity. And I want to know who knows the noun form. I said it. Never mind. It's tenacious is the adjective. Tenacity is the noun form. Okay, I blew that one. During World War II, artificial rubber began to take the place of, natural rubber in American automobile tires. All right. My dad worked at Gates Rubber Company, but there was a point where we thought we were going to have to move to Brazil. He worked, his was like the artificial, but they were made a plant down there as well. And so anyway, the word I'm looking for here is supplant. All right, take the place of. It's like a substitute, but supplant it, replace it. Okay, with a single stroke, I'm on number 3, of his sword, the knight, and now I need a ending on this one. And it means the knight sliced off the monster's head and hung it up on a pole for all to see. Okay? This is where you use something sharp and you slice right through. If you look on number 9, all right, to shape or cut with an X. Yeah, he hewed through. Hewed. That's how it's pronounced. Number 4, since a student who is blank and systematic in study habits will often do better. And this one is, if we look at number 5, hardworking, industrious, not lazy, if they're diligent, all right? And see, I know it's diligent instead of tenacious because look at diligent and systematic compared to brilliant and erratic. Now, we had erratic before, okay? And systematic compares to that. And so they say diligent, hardworking, as opposed to just having natural smarts, okay? Number 5, since her heroic deeds clearly speak for themselves, the president remarked, further comment on my part would be useless over just extra information. Superfluous. Number 17. It's not needed because it would just be, excessive. Okay. Number 6. He is a rather blank sort of man whose sensibilities are easily shocked by other people's less exacting standards of conduct. Okay, so here, what comes to my mind very quickly is the very proper English butler, who's shocked by bad behavior. If any of you are Downton Abbey fans, the butler there, and I'm forgetting his name, I'm ashamed of myself. Anyway, he is very prim, very proper, and only accepted the best behavior. Okay. Since my apartment, number 7, is located on a busy intersection, I have been forced to accustom myself to the constant hum of traffic outside. Okay, constant traffic. Okay, we lived by railroad tracks, and every once in a while, we'd get a train that would go by. We don't live by railroad tracks anymore, but when you live by a busy street, then there's constant traffic. All right, and constant is incessant. Take a look at number 11. It's going on all the time. In New York, this is definitely the case. We taught in New York, and even at 3 in the morning, you get caught in traffic jams. Okay. The huge piles of snow that covered the road leading to the site of the accident will greatly make things more difficult, block the efforts of the rescue team, make it harder. And if we look at number 8, hamper, okay, it's a verb, hamper. It'll hamper the efforts, just make them a lot more difficult. Okay. In a touching scene on the steps of the Capitol, the president awarded blank medals of honor to soldiers who had recently fallen, so they're dead, recently fallen in defense of the country. So they're already dead, and they're getting this award. And so if you look at 14, post means after, humus, death, after death. Most artisans were popular posthumously, means after death. Okay, after they were already gone. Okay. Number 10, a man of lofty character and bearing, the prisoner endured the jibes and blanks of his captors with great patience and fortitude. If you look at number 19, taunts and jeers, all right, or jibes. Taunts and jibes. Taunt somebody, you're mocking them, you're jeering them. You're doing the na-na-na-na-na thing to them. Okay? Number 11, the wily old senator derived a certain amount of kind of mean-spirited amusement from watching his enemies turn on and destroy one another. Kind of a mean sense of satisfaction. Okay? If you look at number 16, sardonic, grimly or scornfully mocking. It's like mean-spirited, nanny, sort of thing. Being really sarcastic in a mean way, not just to simply joke with somebody, but to be mean about things, mean-spirited. Okay, sardonic is definitely a word that we could use to describe. You tell me the character in the short story. Give me a sardonic character in any of the short stories, and that'll be our first. That'll be a point for you. Okay. All right. Number 12, when the stock market collapsed in 1929, many a wealthy spectator found himself as, really, really poor, as the proverbial church mouse. Okay, poor as a church mouse. That's a saying, and so this is really, really poor. And if you look on number number 10. Okay, impoverished. Now, why a church mouse? Well, being impoverished or as poor as a church mouse, there wouldn't be any scraps to fall on the floor. All right, in a church. Church is poor, nothing would fall on the floor. Okay, no waste. 13, I shall never forget the blank sight that greeted us when we arrived at the scene of the accident. Okay, makes you just, it's horrific. It's horrible. Very, very disturbing. And if you take a look at number 7, ghastly, that would be our answer there, the ghastly sight. Okay. Number 14, although Mrs. McCormick was still in a state of shock after the accident, she was clear-minded enough to answer the questions posed by the police. Stay down, stay down. Clear-minded enough, able to recall things clearly. And that would be lucid, number 13. Lucid. All right, now, I'm not going to say it this time. Lucid is my adjective. You get a point on this lesson if you're the first to tell me the noun form, okay, of lucid. All right. Number 15, saying I'm sorry is a good way to begin to blank for the suffering or harm that you have done to another person. Okay. Saying I'm sorry is a good way to, number 1, atone, to make up for. Now this one, we know Christ is our atonement for sin. All right, he atoned for the sin of everyone on the cross. All right, and he did, and he perfect sacrifice. Okay, so atone. Whenever I think about that word atone, truly, Christ is the one. Okay. 16. Lincoln said, "Familiar yourselves with the chains of slavery, basically chains of being bound, and you prepare your own limbs to wear them." Okay, he's talking about bondage here. All right, if you're are the state of being bound or held down. Okay. And that makes sense that he would say something like that. Okay. 17, our football team would do a great deal better if they mastered a few simple plays, and there's my context clue. Instead of trying to use all those less simple or more complicated, intricate plays, all right, or formations. That's number 17. 18, to help blank the expenses that I would incur on the senior class trip to Washington, I became a professional babysitter. So to help offset, all right, to help offset or to help pay for, okay, the word we're looking for is defray, to help defray the costs, okay. D is always going to mean a decrease, all right, that's just the way it is. D means decrease, that prefix. So to defray, we bring down the cost, okay. 19, I suppose bloodhounds may be as happy as other dogs, but they have the blank look of creatures who have lost their last friend. And that's my clue there. Okay? And very sad looking, you know, the Eeyore look, right? Doleful is my adjective there. Doleful. Okay. Number 20, I know that he will say anything to save his own skin, but I believe in this case his account of the incident is believable and should be accepted. Okay? The word we're looking for is credible. There's some credit behind it. All right? There's some facts that match up which give it credit. So it's credible. Okay? And we use two more, or we use a couple words twice. All right, so I hope this has helped you. Remember the two clues for 11 and 14. All right, have a great rest of the weekend. Bye now.